Hello, Meoni here, and welcome to the live letter breakdown for FanFest Las Vegas 2018. This will be a bite-sized breakdown of the facts for you to digest if you missed the live stream itself. This live letter will be the first in a series of live letters looking at content in 4.5 and beyond. This then a part 1 of the 4.5 preview, with another live letter scheduled for December. Patch 4.5 will be titled A Requiem for Heroes. Will our Warrior of Light die, they ask. Apparently, the title represents several different meanings behind it. With Shadowbringers next summer in 5.0, 4.5 will be the last major patch of Stormblood, released in 2 parts. Part 1 of 4.5 releases in early January 2019, and Part 2 of 4.5 will release in late March 2019. Content then that was shown in the live letter for 4.5. Number 1. There will be extensive main scenario quests to get us ready for 5.0 in the summer with Shadowbringers. 2 screenshots were shown here, and the first features Alice talking to Maxima of the Populares, and this one of the real threat in Garlemald. The second feature of 4.5 will be the Four Lords storyline, where you will now face off against Sayu, the Wrath of Snakes. They show this artwork and allude to the trial taking place high above on a suspended arena, where the handrail type structures around it will break and you can fall off. They will show actual footage of this fight in December's live letter. However, a reward for collecting all of the dog mounts from all 4 of the Four Lords will be this mount, which looks absolutely awesome. The third content reveal was that there will be more Hildebrand adventures in 4.5, which I'll talk about in the next live letter. Fourth on the content list was the new Alliance raid. The final chapter of the Return to Iblis series will feature the Orbon Monastery. They show this beautiful artwork of it here, and they reveal that Balthier's outfit will be available as a piece of gear from this raid, as shown here, with the original idea to use Balthier as a character. However, they decided to go a different direction, and a certain other character will make an appearance instead. The fans then scream out the name Fran, and Yoshida simply puts his fingers in his ears and pretends he heard nothing. Fifth on the list of content is the talk of the main scenario quest in 4.5 having a story-related dungeon. The dungeon will be called the Geimlight Dark, which features this artwork where they mention it takes place in the same area as the trailer for the expansion they showed yesterday. Is this potentially Cartano Flats? It certainly looks that way. They say the Alliance Grand Company members will be featured in this storyline heavily, including full voice acting, even for Meryl Webb, which is pretty good. Sixth on the list is the next and final chapter of Eureka. The Forbidden Land of Eureka Hydatos is revealed, the name then being a derivative of the Greek name for water. This will apparently be unlike other Eureka instances we've faced, and will feature large-scale player versus environment content, sort of like a public raid, they explain. This will have a full scenario wrapped up with this epic battle and will be available after you complete the Hydatos storyline. Hydatos will be available in March of next year. Seventh on the list of content is PvP updates. Rival Wings is being revisited and a new map called the Hidden Gorge will be added. This is a team-based battle for supremacy over a railroad track in the center of the map. Controlling points will allow you to control a goblin train. They mention getting hit by this train hurts and you should try to prevent that. Rival Wings is awesome and it'll be good to see people back in that content. Eighth on a list of content is updates to the Gold Saucer, in addition to a large-scale content edition, which they are saving to talk about in December's live letter. There will also be a new gate event called Air Force One. This involves you riding on the Sigmascape Air Force mount as an amusement ride on rails, where you will have to shoot targets as you go, which sounds pretty awesome. Ninth on the list of content is a new custom deliveries client NPC. In addition to Zloe, Monago and Kurenai, we get a 4th delivery questline NPC for you to grind your scripts on, which should keep the majority of us crafters busy for a few weeks at least. Number 10 on the content list is the addition of a world visit system. They go into massive detail here about how you can use this new ability to travel to other servers on your data center. Interacting directly with one of the 3 Aetherites in either Gridania, Uldar or Limsa Lominsa will let you now choose to visit another world on your data center. It will ask you which server you want to visit. You choose, it confirms your selection, and if it's not congested currently too badly, it will move you directly over. There are, however, limitations whilst you're there, including that you can only talk in free company chat and have no access to your free company abilities as they are on your home world. You cannot use normal link shells and only cross-world link shells are active. You cannot use mogmail. You cannot buy property in estate areas, but you can visit them. You cannot attend or make eternal bond ceremonies. However, they will change this in the future so you can at least visit other people's ceremonies, they say. You cannot use legendary or unspoiled gathering nodes. You cannot buy a ticket to the Jumbo Cactpot on that server. You cannot enter Lord of the Minion or Triple Triad tournaments, and you cannot sell items on that Visited Worlds market board, which is a big one, thank goodness. Things you can do include going in the open world with friends on other servers and joining in with treasure hunts, hunt marks, fates, and the other open world activities. Your home world will always be your home world unless you pay for a server transfer. However, if you log out in Moogle, for example, yet your home is not on Moogle, you will log into Moogle the next time you log in. So it is persistent until you leave that server via an aetheryte in the major city-state Limsa, Uldar, or Gridania. They say they tried to make the whole thing very easy to use and understand. Next up, they talk about the new data center expansions, and there will be one additional data center to both Europe and America, making the US data centers total 3 and Europe to 2. The American data center will be called Crystal and the EU will be called Light. To make this possible and to reduce server strain, they are moving the servers around data centers as follows. Here's the American list first. And these are obviously going to be talked about in contention for quite some time. Pause if you need to on the video for more time on that slide. And here's the EU server distribution as well. In a note for EU server distribution, they mentioned that majority language was taken into consideration, so more French and German players are grouped on the new Chaos setup, and the Light data center will have more English-speaking characters as a result, which I'm a little irritated about, to say the least, but that's a discussion for another time. They'll be offering 2 weeks of free transfers for accounts affected, and will be lifting the guild cap on transfers for this limited time to over like 9 billion or so, which is pretty good. And they are also reimbursing housing costs if you move to the full amount of what the plot originally cost, and give you 3 million guild compensation. If you move and have an apartment, they give you the 500k you brought it for originally, and another 500k compensation in addition. And that's that section of the show completed. Next is all about Blue Mage. Blue Mage is being added in 4.5 and will feature a solo experience centered around this job. The job itself will be limited, which means it will not be usable in relevant content now or in the future for the time being. It has a cap of level 50 upon launch, with no base class associated with it, and with patch 4.5 it starts at level 1. Instead of learning abilities from a quest trainer, you have to learn them from monsters instead. To unlock Blue Mage, you need to have a level 50 Disciple of War or Magic already on your account and have completed the 2.0 storyline. You don't need any expansions to play Blue Mage and can play it with the base A Realm Reborn game. They use the reasoning that they didn't want to hold the job back in development for why they won't be using it as a regular meta job role. And as such they can go wild on content for it to bring the true Blue Mage experience to life. They use the further point that having Blue Mage come in and instantly kill a boss with level 5 death wouldn't be constructive for the game's development, and another reason to segregate it. This, they say, opens the gates to other jobs they haven't previously considered before, since those didn't meet what they said were needed for an MMO experience to fit in. They even mentioned by name Puppet Master and Beast Tamer as hypothetical roles. Blue Mages then will be available to join instance duties, but only in pre-formed groups. However, they cannot enter any matchmaked PvE or PvP or even deep dungeons alone. They will be limited to leveling in open world content where their experience is increased exponentially more than other classes, and will learn abilities from the monsters whilst they level out in the open as well as in dungeon content later on. At level 50, they can access the Masked Carnival instance. This is a Blue Mage exclusive piece of solo content where you will face waves of monsters in rounds of 3. There are 25 different stages with 3 rounds per stage. Each monster will have a weakness that you must exploit with the corresponding blue magic to win. If a monster is flying, for example, they say unless you have a lightning ability, you'll have a tough time defeating it, and so it promotes people going out and hunting down the location and the monster responsible for learning the corresponding ability they need. They show off some of the blue magic here, including Thousand Needles from Cactuars, and also Bad Breath from Malboros. Apparently you don't need to get hit by the ability directly to learn it, rather you can witness the ability and then you have a chance to learn it when you see it. The chance factor will be very RNG dependent, and some bosses, for example, will have multiple difficulties, such as Ifrit. If you defeated Ifrit on normal, it would likely have a less chance already to learn Eruption from it than say if you conquered Extreme Mode, where the chance would be higher to learn that ability. The Blue Mage spellbook will list 49 abilities you can acquire as of 4.5, of which at any one time you can choose up to 24 to use. If you hover over an ability slot on the Blue Mage spellbook, it will give you hints of where you can acquire that ability. However, they want to keep them vague, and they want the community to share and find these locations and monsters themselves. Some will be instanced, and others will be out in the open world. They show examples of spells such as Ifrit's Eruption spell used against Garuda here, and Mighty Guard used to defend against this large vulture. Mighty Guard was the name of the tank limit break, but they are changing the name of that limit break to Stronghold so they can use it on Blue Mage instead. They also mention Aqua Breath as well as abilities like Death. It's then said to imagine what moves from Final Fantasy V and the other instances of Blue Mage's appearances throughout the Final Fantasy series, and you will have a good idea of the 49 abilities they eventually chose for this job. And that about wraps up for the most part the letter from the producer live at FanFest 2018 in Las Vegas. What do you think about Blue Mage? Was it what you hoped for, or are you now upset it won't be in the meta like other jobs? Are you concerned about the new data center distribution like myself? Let me know below, and I'll see you all next time.